In 2015, Kelly Grant, a young, unmarried mother, posted on social media that her 5-year-old daughter Olivia had a number of possibly fatal conditions. Kelly's heartbreaking statements on social media and her GoFundMe page prompted well-meaning people to donate more than $22,000 to her. Medicaid later paid Kelly more than $500,000 for her daughter's further medical care. But Kelly's situation never made sense. In 2017, as the Colorado authorities started to inquire, Olivia abruptly passed away from her sickness. It appears that Kelly Grant conned everyone out of their money in what can only be characterized as one of the cruelest twists to one of the most heartbreaking stories of a child's death. Sadly, Olivia passed away due to her illness, but it appears that her mother planned her agonizing passing in order to gain sympathy and money. But before we get in today's story, if you like to hear more true crime and strange stories, then please subscribe our channel and also press the bell icon to get the notification. Kelly Renee Grant was born Kelly Renee Turner in 1978 in the Houston, Texas area. Although she was raised in the Houston region, little is known about her early years. Kelly's childhood is a bit of sidestery, other from the possibility that she was reared in a violent home. According to the statements of those who knew her, Kelly was the kind of person who could blend into a crowd and disappear. She was not particularly attractive, nor smart or engaging, and she never seemed to have a job. But she was friendly and seemed to be a good mother to her daughters. Some of her friends noticed her lack of relationship with her family but didn't think too much about it because such relationships are more common today. In the year 2013, Kelly Grant started telling her friends and family that Olivia had been diagnosed with a plethora of medical issues. And then, as quickly as Kelly told her friends about Olivia's problems, she decided they were moving to the Denver, Colorado area. Yes, it did seem like a really odd decision for Kelly as a woman to make. Kelly had a support system in Texas in addition to the excellent medical facilities that Houston possessed, and Olivia had her pals. However, Colorado has superior government benefits. In 2014, she started out by scamming Medicaid by inflating Olivia's health. She did occasionally take Olivia to the doctor, presumably to give some credence to her allegations. Olivia was also given a number of medical diagnoses by the physicians, so Kelly would receive payments. However, Kelly will stop bringing Olivia in for treatment since she was only trying to collect money, once the diagnosis was made and the government agreed to pay. Kelly created a fairly elaborate history for her daughter's condition by the beginning of 2015. After Kelly was successfully able to make some cash by using her daughter's sickness, instead of stopping, she began thinking of more way to make money, but this time she wanted to make big bucks. She knew that the internet and social media were the keys to make the big bucks. In 2015, Kelly started a blog titled Prayers for Olivia Grant as her first action. The website encouraged visitors to post encouraging notes for Olivia as well as updates on her condition, as well as images of her with Kelly. Kelly also made sure to post plenty of pictures of the cute little girl. The site included contact details outlining how those who were really concerned may send money. Most significantly, the site pointed interested parties to Olivia's GoFundMe page. In the text on the page, it stated, "We are hoping for support both financially, spiritually, and emotionally. Not only will this be a taxing time for Kelly, Mom, and Olivia, but for Olivia's sisters and the friends and family who are willing to step in and help during this time." Many people were also ready and willing to aid Olivia and her mother. When the account eventually surpassed $20,000, Kelly and her girls were able to relocate to a better apartment. Most people didn't think much of the relocation because a terminally ill child would undoubtedly benefit from improved living arrangements. Kelly's page received a massive attention by the folks. The heartbreaking story of a little girl and her mother's quest to not to give up touched millions. People from every walk of life did their best to bring even a slight smile on Olivia's face. In 2017, the Denver Police Department gave long evening rides to Olivia and also clicked numerous photos with her. Even the firefighters invited Olivia and her mother to visit them and get the opportunity of clicking photos with them. Olivia was also given a Batgirl-themed party by the Make-A-Wish Foundation, which was approximately costed $11,000. By the summer of 2017, Olivia's condition had severely deteriorated. The doctors were also clueless of the situation. Olivia, who was not only weeks ago looked in her best health, was now looking to something unimaginable. None of the medications and treatments Olivia was given seemed to work. She was constantly sick and in pain, so her doctors advised that she be placed in a hospice where she could be given around-the-clock care. Olivia Turner finally lost her battle against her mother in August 2017. The doctors at Children's Hospital Colorado, who had previously treated Olivia and were familiar with her condition, had suspicions right away. Kelly stopping bringing Olivia in for treatment after the government agreed to pay sounded weird. Kelly claimed to have a sickness, but it was never confirmed, and the exact reason for her demise was never determined. The physicians could only guess as to what caused her death, but they knew she had been in pain for a while before her little body just gave out. Another bizarre thing that took just only a little time after Olivia's death was that her old sister, who was also healthy, suddenly became ill. The strange turn of events caused the doctors to examine the entire scenario more carefully and led them to contact Colorado Human Services. Social workers determined that there was certainly smoke and that everything should be investigated, so the local police were also called. Initially, when the detectives learned the full story and circumstances surrounding the death of Olivia Grant, they too thought that the things just doesn't add up. Since the death certificate said Olivia died of various illnesses and not homicide, there was little they could do. At least for the time being. However, the detectives were aware that Olivia had suffered a terrible loss, so they kept the case open and persisted in encouraging the district attorney's office to pursue more lines of inquiry. After a year of investigation, a judge approved a warrant in 2018 that authorized the district attorney to exhume Olivia's remains. A second, more complete autopsy was performed, and the results showed that the young girl's cause of death was very different from what her mother had said. The results of Olivia's autopsy revealed that she was underweight and hadn't received medical attention in a while before she passed away. Olivia's death appears to have been caused by a protracted lack of care, even if the autopsy was unable to pinpoint the exact cause. Most crucially, the autopsy demonstrated that Olivia did not exhibit any symptoms of the several illnesses her mother claimed she had. The news of the new autopsy spread rapidly through Denver by word of mouth and the local news media, and eventually, nationwide via social media. People felt misled and furious. How could a mother harm her child to make money? Was a frequent query. It was the question that everyone wanted to be answered, and it could only be answered by Kelly Turner or in a courtroom. Soon after the autopsy results, police was on their way to visit Kelly Grant. Kelly was finally arrested at a hotel in Glendale, Colorado, on Friday after a grand jury returned a 13-count indictment against her for the 2017 death of her daughter. Turner is now possibly facing multiple felony and misdemeanor charges, including first-degree murder, child abuse, and charitable fraud. The local community breathed a sigh of relief when Kelly was arrested, and the police were praised for staying with the case. The Douglas County Sheriff Tony Spurlock also said that, "I am extremely proud and impressed with the determination of all agencies involved, especially my detectives. While it has been an extremely emotional case, they have investigated all aspects of it with diligence and professionalism. Although the case has yet to go to trial, based on the evidence uncovered so far, it looks like Kelly Turner will be spending a considerable time, probably the rest of her life, behind bars." There was clearly at least a profit motive for Olivia's murder.